I'm Lynn with Psychic Focus at psychicfocus.blogspot.com, and today's topic is DNA activation. So the question, Lynn, I'm sure you heard of DNA activation. Where does that come into place in the events like this? Does activation of DNA actually work, and if so, how? What does it do? It'd be nice if you could do a reading on this. Thanks. So that's what I'm doing, a reading. I wanted to look at DNA activation. We've heard about it before, and basically I wanted to look at it and see if I could get clarity as to what it does it work, what's happening here. And as I focus on this, I see a DNA strand in my mind. And then it starts to light up like strings on a Christmas light string. My impression is that activating the DNA encourages an energy flow that helps to turn on some DNA that's been inactive or thought to be junk DNA attached to the strands. So when we activate it, you're basically waking up part of it that normally would be considered junk DNA. So what does that really mean? And I see that some of what we consider junk DNA is related to our ancestry. Humans were seeded to Earth, and in the process of doing so, DNA from various ET species was used as a base, and modifications were made accordingly. And during the creation, some DNA went dormant. It was still left on the strand, but essentially turned off because in our human 3D form, it was unnecessary. We can't use it, or accessing it doesn't seem necessary for our life here in this 3D experience. Reactivating this DNA allows a system to mentally and spiritually connect to higher dimensions, and also the more psychic and intuitive abilities begin to come forward. So I'm not trying to challenge belief systems out there, but in things that I've been able to see, I see Earth was seeded with the human life, and a lot of it is based upon ET DNA. And so this DNA that is considered junk DNA is really in part due to the original seeding effect. A lot of ETs, they reside in higher dimensions, and they have abilities that here on Earth, in this 3D realm that we're in, we don't typically access and utilize. This is a more grounded, a really 5 basic senses experience. And by turning on this other DNA, it helps you tap into things that are utilized more in the higher dimensions. So in a nutshell, to summarize what I just explained, that's how I see it. And like I had said, in the higher dimensions, telepathy, clairvoyance, clairaudience, all of that stuff is easily accessible. As we ascend, those are skills, abilities, and just everyday life, how things will be. Our bodies are wired for this capability, but our human form makes it difficult because it grounds us in this 3D world. Even with the DNA activated, our human body weighs us down, but our mental and spiritual ability doesn't have the same physical constraint. Basically, your minds can do anything. So by activating this, you're activating these other more finite senses that extend beyond our physical body. I also see with this activation, our vibrations increase, meditations are deeper, and you're more connected with Source and your higher self. I do have a caution that this activation can only occur, 1, if you're truly ready for it, then it can occur, and 2, it has to come within. So there's so many people out there with these costly courses and classes and procedures to try to guide you, but if you don't meet the number 1 and number 2, if you're not ready and you're not prepared to do the work within, it's not going to be as effective. You can activate yourself through dedicated and frequent meditation, and you may even seek out free guided meditations to do this as well. Because if you try to rush it and you think, well, I'm gonna buy this big fancy course, you're just going to be met with frustration and aggravation and anxiousness. Like, when is it happening? I don't notice anything different, because it has to come within and you have to be ready to do it. So I just want to put that out there, because so many people are offering all of these activation kind of things. And if you're not prepared to do the work yourself, you might be met with frustration in the end. So I will leave you with that. I want to thank you so much for listening. If you have a question you'd like to submit, if you'd like a personal reading with me, I also am a Reiki master and offer distance Reiki as well. So if you are interested in any of those things, please check me out on my blog. I really appreciate it. Again, I'm Lynn with Psychic Focus at psychicfocus.blogspot.com. Thank you. Bye.